Okay, I'm back. Welcome back, everybody. I had kind of a nasty encounter at work today. Well, recently, and so I figured I'd talk about it. Because the end result was actually pretty good. So in the end, it was really positive. So hopefully, it'll help you. Let's discuss it. Welcome to the newest episode of SDW.
Super Dario World!
All right. Back. So, why do I keep talking about these things? Interesting. I guess it's because people keep reaching out to me about it. Every single time I talk about something like this, I always get a ton of messages. Then the next few days, people saying like, "Thank you for talking about this. Thank you," because I feel I feel similar, and I thought it was going crazy, and it's nice to hear that I'm not the only one. And so I consider it important to keep talking about it. And if it gets annoying, I'm sorry, but I can't ignore that. And also because I think there's a solution somewhere, somewhere around the corner that we're gonna be finding pretty soon. And I may have found it. You never know. But before I get into that, let me just give you a quick reminder that you can always, if any comments, questions, or suggestions, you can always find me at Dario the Show on Instagram and at Super Dario World. Also, I do live streams pretty much every day now. I'm trying to on Twitch and on YouTube at Super Dario World. You can follow me there. I'm doing one right now. I'm live. Yeah, I'll continue doing it for a while. I guess until I figure out if I want to keep doing only Twitch or only YouTube. I'll continue doing both. Feel free to join me there. I'm trying to do this live. It's still a pain in the butt. I'm still trying to figure some stuff out. Keeping, some things in mind, like, oh, I gotta be pressing this button or whatever, or I gotta organize all this stuff. It's still kind of a pain in the butt, but I'm trying to make it work. Anyway, I'll keep the handles up if you want to check them out. Yeah. Well, what time? Changes. Like usually, I'm trying to do like every Tuesday and Thursday do a game stream with my kid brother, Eric, who sucks. But I can't always do it. Like today, I don't think I'm gonna do it because this kind of got in the way. The day got ahead of me, but whatever. Let's get into the story. So, I had an encounter at work recently, and it was really nasty. What happened was really nasty. And I'll try to be vague, because I debated whether or not I should talk about this, because, well, I like keeping, work stuff, at work, professional. You handle things at home. You don't bring them, out in the open. But this one seemed kind of important, and so I'll try to be vague, also because I don't mind sharing my stories, but I try to be respectful of other people's privacy. So far, my audience has been pretty cool. And whenever I ask them, just respect all people's privacy, whatever, they're pretty good with it. So I trust my audience. It's fine. But unfortunately, I have more than one job. I have like 3. And so and I worked all of them recently. So it's really hard for you guys to know either way. So I'll try to be vague. I don't know. It doesn't always work out, but whatever. So I had an encounter with a coworker that did not go really well. It did not go well at all. And like I said, it was pretty nasty. So here's what happened. I'll walk you through the whole thing. We're going through a conversation, and I mentioned something that really, really upset the person. And I did not expect for it to happen. It was a political topic, and I may be a little bit blunt. I speak in a matter-of-fact sort of way, and some people don't appreciate it. I don't know why, but that's the way I talk. And when I speak matter-of-factly, when I say like, oh no, you're wrong, this is how it is, it's usually when I kind of tend to know about certain things, and so that's when I speak that way. So I mentioned something like, no, you're wrong, and I said it because of this and this. The thing took a very hard turn that I did not expect. Like the other person got really angry really quickly, went 0 to 60 like that. Like I did not see it coming. To me, it was just a normal conversation, and all of a sudden it turned really nasty really quickly, and the other person started yelling at me. And now, when it comes to work, well, usually what I do when somebody's yelling at me is or somebody's that angry, I tend to laugh. I tend to smile. I tend to look at them like this, like, because it pisses them off. pisses them the fuck off. People get really upset when they're angry and you're happy, like, and I find that funny. But when it comes to work, I try to not escalate things. I try to de-escalate things. So I tend to just give them like the fish dead look, like, okay. Like I immediately try to go stone face. Like you're not gonna get any reaction from me. I'm gonna even if I'm like super pissed off. The problem is that I understand what it's like to be a hothead. I'm also a hothead for a lot of things, but I'm implosive, right? I explode on the inside. So I might be like stone faced, but inside I'm so I bet I can understand somebody being a hothead and somebody being passionate about something. So I'm dealing with somebody who's explosive and I'm implosive. So the other person's just going off, and I'm just sitting there stone faced, trying to ask reasonable questions. And the other person just keeps yelling at me, and they start cussing me, and it's like, oh, you're just such a fucking asshole, and stuff like that. And so it got really personal for no reason that I understood. Like to me, I did not see any reason why it escalated so quickly. You know, like that escalated quickly. Yeah, and for no reason. And so the other person, stormed off, and I was just sitting there pondering, like, well, what am I going to do about this? Because I ain't going to accept a coworker speaking to me that way. That's just not how I roll. That's not a good work environment. And I've worked in hostile and work environments before. It's not fun. And so it's one of those things that's like, all right, okay, I got to do something about it, and I got to do something about it quickly. And so I spent the rest of the shift wondering, like, all right, okay, what are my options? What can I do here? And so I go through all my options, and it's like, first off, what do I want to happen? Well, first off, okay, I'll be honest, I wanted to cool off too, because I was also pretty pissed off because somebody just yelled in my face. And so I was all right, okay, I'm gonna cool off, and as I'm cooling off, I'm trying to change my goals, because when you're angry, your goal is one thing. When you relax, your goal is another. Well, trying to cool off. As I cooled off, all right, okay, so these are the three likely scenarios. So this would be the best case scenario, this is the most likely scenario, and this is the worst case scenario. So which one do I want? And so I'll start working towards that. However, I need to prepare for the worst, because that's just how I work. I always prepare for the worst. I hope for the best. I aim for the best, but I prepare for the worst. So I make up my mind what is it that I want, and I figure out what I think is the best way of approaching it. So, well, actually, no. Once I realize what I want, it's okay, what's the best way to approach it? And that led me to a conundrum, because I am a grown-ass man. I like dealing with things by myself. It's like I don't want to get anybody else involved. Whenever I have an issue with somebody, I like dealing with things one-on-one. That's the way I was raised. That's the way I like doing things. So I like doing things one-on-one whenever I have an issue with a person. Other people prefer things differently. That's the way I like doing it. However, I did feel that it was important to maybe try to get somebody above me into the situation, because, well, let me share another story with you before I'll pause that one. I'll share another story, because I've been in the position where you get blindsided by an employee or by an underling, and it completely fucks you up. So I'll share this kind of quick story. Back a few years back, I was in film school, and I was the producer of a short film, and so I'd worked with the director before, and so I trusted him with the way he did things, and I kind of overall I trusted my crew. We were doing pretty good. And one day, in the middle of a shot, in the middle of a shoot, the director walks up to me, and the DP, that's the director of photography, they walk to me, and they tell me, like, hey, we're firing our, I believe it was our key grip. And for those of you who don't know, key grip, basically it's the lighting guy, handles everything that's lighting related. And they told me, like, yeah, basically we fired that guy. And I was like, what? That's kind of, if you have key in your name, that's kind of an important role. That's kind of a person that you need on set. And so they told me, yeah, no, well, there was this incident with our first AD, that's the first assistant director, who is also very important. The first assistant director is basically the person who manages the schedule for the whole thing. While you're shooting one scene, they're preparing stuff for the next stuff. Also a very important person. And apparently the first AD and the key grip, they were having issues. And the key grip made the first AD cry at one point. And the key grip also was having issues with the director of photography, but the director of photography was kind of a pushover, and he was kind of letting him do stuff, so he wasn't happy with the shoot overall. It was a whole thing. And so I understood why they wanted to get rid of him. It's just I did not understand why they reached that decision without telling me. I was the producer in that situation. I was not on set, but I was in the building, and I was easily accessible. And so what I told them is, okay, I understand what you did. I'll find somebody else. We will adapt. We will survive. We persevere. But the next situation, if anything anything else happens on set, I need you to tell me. All right, I need to be I'm the grown up in the room. All right, so there's a reason why I don't go into the set while we're shooting, and it's because I feel like the producer needs to stay out of the way of certain things. Like, for those of you who don't understand film lingo, the producer is, imagine he's the general manager and the director is the coach. Everybody else is basically the players or coaching staff. So the general manager or the producer gets the team together. He builds the team, but the person who runs it is the head coach. So that's why you never see a general manager on the field with the head coach just looking over his shoulder, even if you agree. So to me, it's like, all right, I've worked with this guy. Either I trust him or I don't. And if I don't trust him, I would not have worked with him. So I trust this guy. That's your set. We already planned everything before. We already agreed on everything else. You can't pull something out of your ass without telling me, because I control the money. So you're not going to be doing anything that we didn't agree on beforehand. So there's a certain level of trust that you have to give your people, and I gave it to them. And so that's why I tend to stay out of the set. I'm there if I'm needed for anything, or I'm usually running around doing some errands, but I give them their space, specifically for situations like this. And so here's what happens. If there's an issue with two people on set, the last thing you want to do is have those two people be the ones who duke it out, because it's going to end exactly the way that it ended here, because the tensions are high. It's a hot set. People, it gets hot under those lights. People get stressed. The best thing you can do is you talk to somebody else. If anybody would have come and talked to me, then I would have talked with the person that I think is the problem, and then that person would have been upset with me, all right? They would have been upset with the producer, who is not in the room, right? And so what I asked them is, just tell me first. And I always remember that feeling of like, man, I just got blindsided by this, and now I have to scramble. Whereas in another situation, I could have chosen to do something differently, and maybe I could have avoided the situation. So many more options that were available to me if I had been notified, right? And so in that position, I was like, okay, I need to tell my superior, because I don't want to blindside them. However, I want to handle the situation. So after our shift ended, I go to our superior, and basically I tell him, like, hey, I'm having an issue with obviously the other person already knew, because it was kind of not really a giant workspace, so he had to have heard something. But it's like I tell him, like, hey, I had the situation with the coworker. I thought that this was very rude, and so I would like to speak with him about it. And so my boss was obviously worried, and he was like, no, well, he tried to explain kind of the way that he saw the situation, and I'm like, no, that's not the issue. I don't care about arguing about the political stuff. I don't. To me, the issue is about the respect. Like, it was very rude the way that he handled it, and I don't appreciate that. So I am going to I would like to speak to him about it, and I wanted to tell you, because you're the person in charge, and I don't want to blindside you if anything goes awry, but I would like to handle this myself. So I basically told him what I wanted to explain, that I didn't really, and hope that it wouldn't escalate, the situation wouldn't escalate. And I guess based on how he saw me and how I explained it, it was like, all right, okay, go do your thing. You can talk to him. But I was perfectly ready to go with whatever that person chose. It's like, okay, if you say don't do this, or I'm going to do it, fine. I was perfectly willing and accepting to go with whatever they wanted to do. So now it was a matter of talking to the person that I had the issue with. And why the hell is that ringing? Whoops, sorry. Very unprofessional of me. So I head over there, and as I'm pondering still what exactly would be the best way to approach this situation, because I don't want it to escalate. If it does, I already have a plan. Like I said, I already have a plan for the worst case scenario, but I want want it to go well, right? And overall, I want it to go well because it's a person that I like, and it's a work environment, and I want things to stay peaceful. So all right, I go try to find this person, and in my mind, I already made several decisions. Like I already know if things go this way, I am going to do this. Like it's already a decision in my mind. I I tend to give people 4 chances. Well, three chances once I take action. What does that mean? The first one is I tend to give people the opportunity to apologize and without any consequences. So it's like, all right, if you approach me, if I go to somebody and I act like an asshole, afterwards, once I cool off, the thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go and I'm going to apologize because I know that I acted like an asshole. So I would hope somebody else did the same thing. It doesn't always happen, but I try to give them the opportunity. And if they approach me in that situation, even if they're still kind of assholes, but I can tell that they apologize, I'll be okay with it. I have a pretty thick skin. It's really hard for something to bug me. Like I don't mind jokes at all. Like I don't mind offensive jokes. I find it pretty funny. But when you're being disrespectful, that's what really bugs me. And in this situation, it was more like you were attacking me. We're not being friendly here. We're not trying to be funny. You were trying to actually like hurt to hurt me, either like emotionally, psychologically. Where you were going for damage here, and I did not understand it. And so so I tend to give people 3 chances again once I take action. So the first one is 3 chances to apologize. So the first one, I know this. People, if they agree to apologize, they're always going to do the but apology. That's what I like to call the but apology. And that's when they say something, but then they justify themselves. And honestly, it's like, you're a great worker, you're smart, we are so glad to have you on our team, but you're fired. So that one doesn't really matter. It's the Game of Thrones. It's the Game of Thrones rule. Like nothing a man says after but really I don't know. Nothing a man says before but really matters. And so 99% of people do this. It's expected. I expected it. I don't mind. It's like, okay, I apologize, but there's this and this, and it's people just trying to justify themselves. All right, I maybe you're gonna tell me something, and from your perspective that I couldn't see. Okay, I'll give it to you. So that's the first one I'm willing to let go. The second one, if it's still not really going well, it tends to be because, all right, maybe I did not explain myself clearly. I will try again. And I do that after the but as well. It's like, all right, I'm going to try it one more time. The third time. By the third time it doesn't work, then that's, all right, I'm done. And this is going to the worst case scenario. Because I try to explain it once, I try to explain twice, 3 times, nah, we're done. I'm going to take the action that I had already previously decided on taking, which is not going to be good for anybody. But anyway, I already made up my mind. What can you do? I was hoping for something else, but it doesn't always work out that way. So I go with this coworker, and I basically tell him, like, hey, do you want to speak in private? And we go to separate room and tell him about what happened earlier. I thought it was really rude the way you did this. I do not understand why you attacked me that way. I don't feel like it was. Granted, if there's something that's a hot button issue for you, I can understand. We've all had a bad day. Like I perfectly understand hotheads. You have no idea how well I understand hotheads. But well, anyway, I didn't say that. I was telling you. But yeah. So basically, if there's something's a hot button issue, just ask me and I won't do it, and I won't approach it with you. I don't have to talk about things, but I do not appreciate the way that you handled the situation, and I do not appreciate you attacking me. So the other person was like, all right, okay, I understand that, and I apologize. But I found it rude that you did this. All right. Now, that's that first but always gets me. It's like, all right, well, I saw it coming. I understand it. Explain it. So I tried harder to explain. And I came up with this example that honestly, it kind of changed things. It kind of changed the momentum of the conversation, because the other person was getting defensive, and basically what I told him is like, I need you to understand, we're on the same team, all right? I wasn't attacking you, I wasn't trying to offend you or anything. We're on the same side, okay? I don't want this to be, I want us to work together, and because it makes things better. I wasn't trying to trip you up or anything. I generally, so I was generally just trying to have a normal conversation. I do not understand what happened. I get it now. From now on, I understand you have this issue, but I don't feel it was fair the way that you treated me afterwards. And this kind of struck a chord. I don't know what it was, but I think it was the team thing. Like, I legitimately think it was the team thing. Then he was like, "Oh, yeah, we are on the same team," and so that kind of changed the tenor. He apologized, kind of like apologized again. And so what I said after was like, "Yeah, dude, like we have a good relationship so far. I respect you. I hope you respect me. Well, like I said, we're on the same side. We're on the same team. We work together. I think we work well together. I don't tend to hold a grudge. I'm not going to hold a grudge over this, but I did want to be clear. That's not the way that I want us to interact. That's not the relationship that I want us to have." And that led to him saying, like, "You know what? You're 100% right. I'm sorry." And that was that. We shook hands. We walked away. And honestly, I was pretty happy about the whole situation. And it got me thinking, like, maybe that's what's missing. Maybe at one point during this whole thing, we forgot that we're on the same side. We're on the same team. We both want to win, all right? Our goal should be to win as a team. I don't know, just because one person thinks defense is better and the other person thinks offense is better. We're still on the same side. We're still playing the same game on the same side. We still want to win. We're just arguing over strategy and ripping each other's throats over it. It makes no sense. And so I guess that the moral here is maybe that's something you could try. If you're in a similar situation, maybe that's something you could actually give a shot. Because at least for me, it worked. First off, you need to cool off. Second, you kind of need to let them cool off. Afterwards, just approach them and be like, "Dude, we're on the same team." It's something that we forget, but we're on the same team here. I was speaking with my sister earlier, and she's like, "Yeah, actually, teamwork is the thing that's getting us through this. Like, if this pandemic has taught us anything, is that teamwork is the most important thing. Like, we're collaborating with people from other countries. We're trying to all work for the same thing. We're all trying to get the same thing done. Why are we at each other's throats? Like, the companies that are doing the best is the ones that their teams, their coworkers are cohesive units. They're working well together. I don't know why it turned all of a sudden one particular topic turned people rabid. I don't understand it, but we need to go back to the point where we remember, hey, we are on the same team. All right, we're Team America with Matt Damon. We're on the same. Well, actually, Matt Damon was the enemy. Now that I think about it, Matt Damon. Anyway, we're on the same side. So if you encounter this situation with a coworker or something, try it. Maybe I'm being too hopeful. Maybe it was just one random situation with one rabid person that actually ended up working out. But I don't know. There was something about the person's face once I mentioned that, because I think it's been forgotten. I in a way forgot it, and so to see that, like that look of, whoa, he's right. Maybe it could work out for you. I don't know. It's like I said, maybe I'm just like a hopeful fool, but I legitimately think that there's something there, or at least I hope there's something. Like I said, maybe I'm just being like a hopeful fool, but try it out. Let me know. Honestly, I hope it works. I think things get better. Hopefully things get better soon, but maybe it's a start. Maybe just remembering that we're on the same team is the start we need. That's a good place to start. Somebody has to be the grown-up in the room eventually. Like, this is something that I completely understand. As I was getting ready to talk with this person, there's a part of me that's like, but why do I have to be the grown-up? Why do I have to be the grown-up here? Why can't the other person do it? And then I realized, yeah, you're being childish. And so it's important to step up and be the grown-up sometimes. It's hard. It sucks. I hated it. I hated every second of it, but my advice is try being the grown-up. It worked. Like I said, it worked out for me. I don't know if it's going to work out for everybody, but it gave me hope. Like I said, it gave me hope. I walked away with a feeling, thinking like, yes, this could get fixed. We could, still unite. We could still tackle this together. We could still, work together, there's still hope. I honestly, I wholeheartedly believe that there's still hope for saving those really, really rabid people. Try it out. Let me know how it works. As always, any comments, questions, or suggestions, you can find me at Dario the Show on Instagram and at Super Dario World. Also live streaming on Twitch and YouTube now at Super Dario World. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you again next time.